So the Cavs have had the definition of an up and down week, right? They beat the Lakers on national TV. They get that LeBron hump off their back. They get a couple days off. They play the Kings. They lose. Go play Oklahoma City. You win that game. Cool. You play the Spurs, who are not good, on the road. You go down early in that game, but you lose by 1 point, and Darius Garland misses a three-pointer to win the game. And then you walk into this Mavericks game, and people are kind of down, right? On the road, tough game versus a good team with the Mavericks. They have a great wing player in Luka Doncic. And how are you going to fare? And it turned out they fared pretty well against the Mavericks, as they ended up beating them by 15 points today. I think in the fourth quarter, the closest this game ever got was like 9 points early on in the fourth. But this was a game that was dominated early by Donovan Mitchell. I believe at one point he got in, the Cavs were only up by like 5 or 6. The Mavericks were making a comeback, and then he got in the game. They went up like plus 15. He went crazy in the first half of this game. I think he missed one shot in the first half, and he had 27-something points. Now, he finished with 34, so he didn't really take that many shots in the second half. Ended up, 13 of 20, so a couple more shots than I thought, but 13 of 20. 6 of 9 from 3, 34 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. That's kind of just the standard Donovan Mitchell night. And if you compare him with the other star, Luka Doncic, 23 shots, 30 points, plus minus of negative 20, 2 of 8 from 3. Just wasn't as solid, but he did get a bunch of free throws, right? 10 of 11 from free throw. Donovan Mitchell is still 2 of 2. If there's one thing I want to complain about with this Cavs offense, and there's not much really left to complain about because this offense has been pretty solid, one of the better ones in the NBA, is they have to figure out a way to get to the free throw line more often, because when they do have those bad shooting nights, that's going to be what allows them to survive it, is if they can get to the free throw line often. And this team shoots way too many threes to not get to the free throw line with regularity, right? Because if we look at what Dallas took 25 free throws today, Cavs only 19. You want to be in that 24-25 range. You want to be able to take a good amount of free throws, and you want those free throws really for Darius and Donovan as much as anybody, because those are your best free throw shooters. And also, the free throws just keep you going, right, when it comes to your scores. And we're just not getting those on a consistent enough basis. Like Evan Mobley got fouled a lot today. He had 14 and 7. Lamar Stevens balled, called him Lamar James on Twitter. 18 and 11 and 2. Balled. He went 8 of 15 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. Look, he's not a great 3-point shooter, but he can make some buckets. Like, he's not a zero on offense, and that's all that matters for him, right? I don't know, what's he averaging for the year? I feel like he got to be around he's at 6.7 points this year. He got to be a little bit better than that. He still need another wing. As much as I would want it to be Lamar Stevens to be the permanent wing on this team, got to play a little bit better than that, on average. But today he was good. This is what you want, right? If that's it's like a Tobias Harris game for him, right? Like, that's pretty good for Lamar. Kevin Love, he's been working back, man. 16 minutes, 0 for 4, 0 for 2, 0 for 0 on free throw. Brother didn't do anything but rebound the ball today. He had 0 points, 2 assists, and 9 rebounds. So shout out to them 9 rebounds. He did something. He got them rebounds. And then Isaac, 10 minutes, didn't really do nothing, 2 points. I think he got fouled on that 2-pointer. He got a dunk. Yeah, he got a dunk in this game. It was a pretty clutch dunk, too, at the end of a 24-second cycle. So that was nice. And then Karis LeVert, who's been solid the last couple of days, 4 of 10 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 11 points. Yeah, Karis just don't fit no more. He just don't fit no more. That's the problem. Like, he's not big enough. Like, he's tall. He's 6'6", but he's not a big enough defensive presence to be the wing that the Cavs want. And the way he scores is so ball dominant that it doesn't make sense to have him out there a ton with the way that the Cavs rotations work, which is that they're going to leave Darius or Donovan out there for chunks of the game with the second team, and that's not going to change. Maybe it changes a little bit with Rudy when Ricky Rubio comes back, but right now he's in an awkward spot. There's not really a place for him because he's too ball dominant to make sense to be out there because he really just takes shots away from better players. But maybe a role gets carved out for him. Jetty didn't play today for whatever reason. It was coach's decision. And defensively, I felt like, look, Luka got 30. He got them all through the line, though. They made him work for his 30. Luka's a great player. Luka's an MVP candidate. Like, no joke about that. I felt like Lamar Stevens did an excellent job on him, making him go 9 of 23 from the field, forcing most of his buckets to be earned at the line. I'm fine with that. He didn't kill you from three. I'm fine with that, right? Like the Cavs' wing issues defensively early in the season were like they would let somebody go 6 for 8. The Mavericks only shot 34%, so that's fine. Cavs been up and down shooting the last few games, so you want to see that be corrected. But all in all, I think this team's in an interesting place. And if we look forward here, right, for the Cavaliers, they play the Pacers next. And what was that, at home? Yeah, so they have a home stretch next. That the Pacers, Dallas, Utah, Milwaukee, Toronto, and Brooklyn. We know what this team's record is at home. They are 12-2, undefeated against Eastern Conference opponents at home. I think their only two losses were Minnesota and not Oklahoma City, but Sacramento. Both of those games also without Donovan Mitchell, so you can say they're undefeated at home with Donovan Mitchell. Now, Indiana, that looks like a dub. Dallas could be a dub. Utah feels like a dub. Milwaukee, you got to beat them at some point this season, right? Like, you're not going to get swept by Milwaukee in the divisional series during the regular season. So, like, you probably going to get one. So it's not out the realm. You got to get one on Toronto. They've already beat you twice, but those are two teams back-to-back, Wednesday and Friday, that play you tough, right? Like the two teams that play the Cavaliers the hardest, and I think give the Cavs their biggest issues, are a team like Toronto and Milwaukee. I think it's no mistake that when the Cavs play a team like the Mavericks, they can dominate them even on the road because the Mavericks aren't big. They're a shorter team. They're not a physical team. And those are the kind of teams that the Cavs can use their length and their finesse to beat. But I think the Cavs run into issues when you run into those stronger teams. And I'm not saying the Cavs are soft. They are a very strong-willed team. They like to fight as much. Well, not fight, but they like to scrap on the court as much as anybody. But the problem is that they're not a heavy team, right? They're light compared to everybody else. Their biggest player that gets the most minutes is Jared Allen. Jared Allen's a light center in the grand scheme of things, right? Like, he's not in that let me look up how heavy Jared Allen is, but I don't feel like he's more than anything like 250. And that's why I think when you go up against the guys like Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks of the world, you kind of struggle because they're just stronger than you, right? He's listed at 243, yeah, so he's under 250. And again, like 243 is a lot of weight for like a normal person, but at 6'9" in the NBA, it's just not as much weight as you would think for a center. Because we go to Milwaukee, I mean, Giannis is around 240, and he plays the 3 for him. So, and Giannis is a much stronger 240 than anybody in the NBA, if we're being real about it, right? But that's kind of part of the issue with the Cavs. They're kind of like light. Like Brook Lopez is 282. They have Bobby Portis that they throw at you at 250. Giannis at 242 from the 3 and the 4. And it's like those guys are just stronger than your bigs. Brook, 7 foot tall. Bobby Portis, taller than Jared Allen at 6'10", better, longer reach. These are the guys that give you issues for whatever reason. And I think it's because they just outweigh you. Part of that, I'm not blaming Jared Allen for this. Jared Allen he does well for what he has. But it's more or less like, hey, Evan's light. Evan's really, really light out there, right? At 215, that's pretty light. And that's where you run into issues. Like if we look at the Milwaukee Bucks, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 players. 10 players heavier than him. The first player that is lighter than him is Pat Connaughton. You know what I mean? Like, he's just not a big dude yet. He's a tall guy. He's not big man yet, right? That's where the evolution of Evan Mobley takes its leap when he becomes big man. But that's why I like having Lamar Stevens out there with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, because Lamar Stevens is pretty big for the three. He's 6'6", 230. You can add that physical element in there. You also have to consider Darius Garland. Not the biggest point guard in the world. Very small at that position. Donovan Mitchell. He's actually pretty sturdy for a two guard. Like, well, it's 6'3", and he's carrying like a good 230 on him. You know what I mean? Like, Donovan's sturdy. But when your most sturdy dude for his size and his position is Donovan Mitchell, that kind of shows you what the issue is that you just don't have enough strength there against some of these teams. And I think that is going to affect them if they run into like the Milwaukee Bucks or the Toronto Raptors in a 7-game series. That stuff hurts. But for the regular season, you can get around it. I'm encouraged by this team. This team looks like a 50-win NBA team. How far they go past that, we will see, right? Things are going to have to develop. Trades are going to have to be made. I would love to get a really good 3-and-D wing on this team. You know what I mean? Just one more, right? You can have Lamar Stevens in there. You can have the Evan Mobley option, but give me one more guy to slide in there, right? And I feel like that's going to be enough. Maybe get somebody to be a backup center as well. Maybe that can be a move that you get, so that whenever Jared Allen is out, the defense doesn't go completely to trash, like it has at times. But other than that, the roster's fine. I think coaching wise, JB's fine. Just they need that wing, but you can see the great things ahead for this team. But that's it for this video. Y'all have a great day. Have a good day.